this video took lots of pre-recordings and just so much stuff. And I just finished Melly's birthday thing. So I'm gonna read it to y'all and y'all are gonna see what to do with that. Like, do what you want for that. I'm gonna do that while hold on, I'm about to pick it up right now. Cause this whole thing with her, Norton, and Alice being in the same game. The first time I came across the name Melly Plinius was in a report on the Mediterranean Ecological Research by Joshua Plinius, and her husband. As Mr. Plinius's partner and assistant, she received a page-long opportunity to introduce herself in the 80-page review. Dang! A total of 5 questions, 3 about Mr. Plinius's interests and habits, and 1 about her passion, why Mr., in life, as the wife of a great scholar. And the final question was about her work, or to be more precise, it was about her work as Mr. Plinius' assistant. You could tell she did not like being just the assistant. She wanted to be the wife and the scholar next to him. Like, you know how they just work together as husband and wife and they're the greatest duo? That's what she probably wanted to be with her husband. But in the image created by these 5 questions was vastly different from the Melly Plinius I met at the Manor. This is Alice's interview. This is her investigation. And freaking somebody took it from her room. I remember this, miss. They took her notebook from her room and then left it there. So she probably ended up being she probably ended up getting mind control or something like that. After spending days with her, I realized that Mrs. Plinius was not good with words, but her calmness and confidence shined when we spoke about her research. So obviously she's shy because of the mask, but yeah, it makes a lot more sense. But her calm, yeah, we said that. When we spoke about her past, she would display a rational, sharp, and vigilant attitude. So rational that it was like she was speaking about the life of another. And when we broached a sensitive subject, she would avoid or counterattack in response. Oh yeah, like how she did to Frederick. She did that Mr. Frederick. She was like, speaking of which, we have a yep, I remember that. It's not difficult to guess the reason for this. After all, the popularity enjoyed by the tabloid Queen Bee, which has been in print for more than half a year, far exceeds the research papers she has published in academic journals. So since she was able to survive that storm of public opinion, her husband's death, she is either the most vigilant seabird or the most decisive sailor. There is no shelter, and the remaining storm clouds linger here after the storm. Like the rumor said, she rejected my interview, but did not refuse to get to know each other as friends. Aww! From this, I learned she knew Mr. Orpheus for many years before coming to the Manor and was full of praise towards him. But why would he want her to die? What? However, unlike the rational and objective evaluation of herself, these words of praise seemed quite ironic, yep, but as old acquaintances, she did not form an allegiance with Mr. Orpheus in the Manor. At least it doesn't seem that way for now. Conversely, in my opinion, Mrs. Plinius's fear and vigilance towards Mr. Orpheus even exceeds the fear and vigilance she displays towards Norton Campbell, even if she repeatedly reminded me to be wary of Mr. Campbell. Perhaps in her opinion, the malice of the past is more dangerous than the danger waiting in the future. But maybe it doesn't apply to her. Oh my goodness! Y'all don't understand how much this changes so much. Not only did Orpheus knew her, we obviously knew that they knew each other based on how they talked. And then the way he came at her about her bees, dude. And the story he wrote. Remember that one essence where they were all dressed up and rich and all that stuff, filthy rich, to the point to where Norton dyed his hair and stuff, was wearing jewels, and Melly, she was just all in white, single, because she was wearing that flapper dress. Flappers represent the fact that flappers wear different outfits, so I get in her case, she didn't have the feather, but like the dress itself, it showed that she was a single and not married. She was single and not married. But it showed Alice, it showed her like reaching out to Alice. So she must have been really close with Alice, not to the point to where like she knew her as a friend, but to an extent of where like she genuinely cared about her safety, which is crazy. Oh my goodness. So not only that, but she was even afraid of both Orpheus and Norton. She probably knew that they formed an alliance, but didn't know how to like explain it. Oh my goodness, this explains so much. This explains two things. This explains why she was wary about her in one of Norton's letters, because I think it was his second letter or something, second or third. I think it was most likely the third, but in his second or third letter, Alice was also interviewing him, but he wouldn't talk unless she gave him money. And I don't blame him for wanting money, because like he's desperate at this point. And he probably didn't even trust the Baron, aka Baron D. Ross, which was probably Orpheus. But like there's no P there, so like dang. Okay, so whatever Orpheus was planning, there was somebody else, a greater force behind that. But anyways, moving on from that, Melly told Alice to be wary of like Mr. Campbell, aka Norton. She told him to be wary, and she didn't trust him at all. And now that we're seeing the letter, I can see why she was weary. Even when being interviewed, she just didn't have anybody to trust. Like she didn't trust. You wanna know the thing? She didn't trust interviewer Alice. She only trusted Alice as like a person. So when it came to Alice doing her job as an investigator / reporter, she did not trust that. She thought she most likely assumed that she was gonna go back to Orpheus and like snitch to him, which changes so much. It actually changes a lot about their friendship, because in the thing with Orpheus, he swung a flashlight at Melly, but it showed that she was after Alice, meaning that she was most likely trying to protect Alice from Orpheus, who was Nightmare in her perspective, and Norton, who was Fool's Gold in her perspective as well. Crazy! This not only changes the fact that like Melly also didn't form an alliance, because as the letter said, she didn't form an alliance with Orpheus. She was most likely trying to form an alliance with Alice, but we don't know what happened to her. And dude, it explains why she lied in the story mode. She lied straight up to their face, because she thought that Orpheus over here just wasn't trustworthy. She would have definitely told Alice the truth if she wasn't, interviewer Alice. If she was just regular old Alice, trying to be a friend, trying to figure out and help Melly as well, they definitely would have worked out. I feel like Melly wouldn't even betray Alice, because as we know in the Manor, there's always a bunch of betrayals. Specifically, no, the only alliance we've seen that was genuine was with Doctor, because Doctor and Gardner, they formed an alliance, but like it was only because like Doctor genuinely cared for Emma. I should say Emily. Emily genuinely cared for Emma, and the crazy part to all this is that even after Emma was like displaying signs of like dependence towards like stuff that shouldn't be depended on, she outgrew that, but displayed the dependency onto Emily. Emily probably would have helped her out, and in her letter, which is crazy. I know everybody read that by now. We all know what happened, but it really got me thinking. She literally showed her no longer like her signifying that she's done depending on stuff, and she got her revenge. She did get her revenge, which is girl boss. Like, clap it up for Emma. Just clap it up for Emma. Anyways, moving on from that, Melly and Alice. Alice was interviewing each of them. She was actually interviewing everyone, so I don't really blame Melly for being weary, but the way she interviews everyone, it even shows it in their letters. So they were all in the same game. She interviewed each of them, and they freaking took it. Remember, the Baron took it, so that means whoever took it, Orpheus, I think Orpheus took it. He took that and then used that as like something to put in the letter. Well, the Baron or whoever, I know it's probably Orpheus, because why the freak would you, like, it showed that he was in more than one game, and then to see him, and then we saw how he was acting suspicious when Alice was getting chased. He pretended to see that it was Mary and all that stuff, but in Alice's perspective, that wasn't Mary, that was freaking Frederick. And I don't know who knocked who out, but I think it was Orpheus. How did he carry her? Did he just carry her back? Well, whatever. And hold on, my whole screen just cut out. That was freaky. I'm just still tripping on the fact that, like, Orpheus probably is like a puppet to all of this. Like, how do I explain this without sounding like crazy? What I'm trying to say is that Orpheus not only played a part in this Manor stuff, because he even insinuated that in the beginning of the game. He was like, if I was a part of that, I'm gonna be in a whole lot of legal trouble. And it's true, he will be. Like, once he finally solves everything. And I feel like NetEase needs to like work on their story stuff when it comes to all this. Like, they did everything so well when it came to the story mode that we got, but when it came to other people's letters, they're kind of a bit wonky with that. And then like with all the accessories and stuff, because with the accessories, they tell some of your lore, including the C tiers and not the B tiers. The B tiers show a little bit significance to your lore, but they also don't. They show significance to other people's lores. So like, how do I explain this without sounding wonky about it? Like, for example, Orpheus also lied about his story, just like how Melly did. She said that a bee stung her husband and he died. That never happened. We don't know what happened. She lied to Orpheus. She didn't lie to Alice. She was telling some truths and some lies. So Alice has to basically play, what's it called again? 2 truths and 1 lie. That's basically what she had to play. But when it came to what's the face? When it came to, who else did it come to? When it came to Orpheus, he flat out told he told 2 truths and 1 lie as well. But my thing is that like, he used to live in the manor with Alice, so does that mean, like, that must have mean that they were like pen pals or something? Well, she did say pen pal. Or was it playmate? Something like that. Her buddy, she had a friend, and it was Orpheus. Her pen pal, most likely. She said pen pal. We can just look that up later. She said her pen pal would always be writing stories and she would watch him, but they weren't living together. That was probably when their families were like, you know, living together, like visiting each other's homes. And she did mention how her family sold some of their stuff to greedy relatives. Orpheus's family did the same thing. That's crazy, cause remember, his greedy family members also sold the manor when he left. We need to recheck his lore. Like, I could go back and recheck it, and then after this video, I gotta make a video for Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. But moving on from all that, this whole lore situation with Melly is crazy. Like, there's so many letters. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Miss D. Ross? Who is D. Ross? Is this Wait a minute. There's another letter too. Hold on. I may have to like do something else. July investigation report. So she did 2 reports on Melly. Okay. So not only did she did not 1 but 2 reports on Melly. Y'all gotta look on the second one. Their horoscope portrait frames. Check that one out. I only read the 3rd letter. I will have to read the second letter next time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me ramble and being flabbergasted. But I'm gonna have to put this video to an end. I hope you all loved this video as much as I did. This was so much fun to make. I love you, littles. Goodbye.